What's going on? Welcome back to the Look Mum, I'm Hustling podcast for episode number 8. My name is Drew.
I'm Sarah, and today we're going to talk about time management, work-life balance, that kind of thing, just how we...
Juggle?
Yeah, juggle everything.
How we become jugglers.
Jugglers, yeah. And there's a lot of juggling that happens in your adult life, so whether it is like maybe you're still studying, you're working, living out of home, living in home, have kids, have pets. Yeah, there's just so many, I guess, outside influences that do affect the time that you do have for yourself, for your business, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so many things going on these days. Everyone's living such a fast-paced life.
Mm-hmm.
It's time that we took a step back and then assessed what we're actually doing and trying to, keep everything in balance, in check.
And it's not easy. Like we always say it, we're not perfect. We do make mistakes. Sometimes we do fall back on bad habits, but it's all about moving forward, which is what we try to do. But as always, thank you for listening. For those that are just new here, we do have some other episodes out there in the ether. The previous episode, we answered a couple of questions that people have been asking and just gave a bit of update on our lives and what we've been up to.
Yep.
But we thought it'd be a good sort of segue to talk about our balance, because we mentioned it a couple of times in the previous episode.
Yeah. Balance is one of those tricky things. You don't really think about it until you're in your 20s and 30s, like growing up. There was no balance in school and high school.
No.
I never really played sport or anything. So I never had to balance academics and then sport in that aspect. It was always just, let's just go for a surf and then let's do minimal homework. And there was never really any balance or, I guess, discipline or even thought of trying to balance everything out. And then obviously you get into your 20s, you start working full time and you're like, whoa, I need to find out what I'm doing and what I enjoy doing and try and incorporate that so I'm not working all the time.
Yeah, and it is hard because sometimes we can get caught up and before you know it, it's like you're 3 months in, you haven't had a single break and you're burnt out. Yeah, and it does happen. Like I've been burnt out before. I know you've been burnt out before.
Yeah.
And it's never something like that you can just be like, yeah, sweet, I'll set this time for this, I don't know, relaxation period, things like that. It doesn't always happen that way. So yeah, you got to roll with the punches sometimes and learn and grow.
I think you're the other way though. Like the introduction of Netflix has gone the other way. You do less work and there's less balance. It's in more in the favor of leisure.
Yeah, and I've fallen to that as well. So sometimes I'll get caught up in a book that I'll read for too long, or, you have Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all those kind of ones. And then before you know it, 3 hours is down the drain. You'd be like, what have I just done this evening? Yeah, but it's wanting to, I guess, be better as an adult and I guess make more progress. And ultimately for us, it's, getting enough money or earning enough money so we can retire early or go on a holiday and do the things that we want. Yeah, and it's, again, finding that time for it. But I thought I'd just talk a little bit about, I guess, what our schedules used to look like. So for those that might know us a little bit or don't know us at all, I still work full-time. So I work about 40 hours a week. Drew also used to work part-time as well. But I think it was about 6 months ago, with our working schedules and everything, we're actually only getting 1 day off together a week, which wasn't a lot of time. And usually that 1 day off together would be spent sourcing or thrifting or finding stuff, or whether it's appointments for Archie and things like that. And we just found we had no time whatsoever, just nothing. We found that our YouTube suffered because we couldn't record videos. We couldn't really do the things that we really enjoyed. It's all about just, I think we're in the motions of just all the actions. So listing, drafting, thrifting, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, didn't really leave any time to do anything for us because that 1 day off was spent trying to build the side hustle, the small business.
Mm-hmm.
And all the evenings were spent doing normal adult stuff, cleaning, cooking, looking after dogs. So, yeah, it was very hard to find that balance. I think we worked through it. The eBay store still cranked along. We still reached out into different selling platforms and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the 1 day a week, and the problem was there was a different day every week.
Yeah.
It was a Tuesday, then a Saturday, and it's we can't get any structure to our working week. It was literally just playing every day by ear, trying to just figure out what to do. And then at the end of the month, you'd be like, we haven't really slowed down and tried to stop and, find that balance that we're working so hard to get to. We need to start incorporating it sooner or later. And then we changed up our rosters, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we ended up changing our working rosters. So I changed my working days off to Tuesday, Wednesday. So I actually had a midweek weekend. So I work through the weekend, which is fine. I'm happy to do that. And then you had the Tuesday, Wednesdays off as well. And then all of a sudden, we're like, we can actually plan. We've got time to spend together. We can actually start recording videos. We're able to start recording this podcast. Yeah, because we've only had those days off for about 3 months or so, I would say.
Probably the start of the year, yeah.
Start of the year, we decided to change it up to see how that happened, and it ended up working quite well in our favor. It was awesome. Like I found out I was getting to be able to relax a little bit more. I wasn't feeling as burnt out because with my old roster, I would have 1 week would be like 2 days off together and then the following would be split days off togetgether. And I was just tired always.
It was a long stretch between your days off. It wasn't like, 5 days on, 2 days off. It was like 1 day on. 1 day off, 8 days on.
Yeah. Very, very tired. But with my new roster, I'm finding a lot more time for myself. I'm not feeling as burnt out. I feel like my work has improved as well. But in the last month, it's changed again. So we're a little bit we're sort of still figuring out our new timetable.
We're in the new calibration zone.
Yes. Yeah, so we're still trying to figure it out to find out what works best for us. But you're now full-time.
Yeah, so I quit my part-time job because I was kind of over it and it wasn't really providing me much growth or stimulation. I never really had ambitions of being there for any extended period of time or climbing the ladder as such. And I don't know, I've always sort of loved the idea and worked towards the goal of being my own boss, working for myself, making my own hours, doing my own thing. Even when I was studying my nutrition degree, the end goal was to sort of work for myself and be a one-on-one consultant anyway. But yeah, as I've touched on probably, again, 20 times on the podcast and YouTube channel, sort of lost my passion for it to a degree and didn't really see myself like really pursuing it long-term and digging in and putting in those 12 to 18-hour days to really get the brand and the business going. So sort of put it to the wayside for the time being. What was I talking about? I forgot what I was.
Well, like how you used to be a nutrition and now you're full-time reselling.
Yeah, so like I always wanted to like work for myself to a degree. That's where I was coming around to. And then sort of just worked at my job that I had been working at for the last few years, and then haven't really done anything nutrition-wise. And then we started reselling 2.5 years ago, and then I could see the potential for me to go full-time doing this. It was a lot easier to manage and to handle. There was more of a passion to it. It was something I wanted to wake up doing and like first thing in the morning and then go to bed doing and falling asleep on my phone doing work. I couldn't really see myself doing that in the nutrition space. So long story short, I quit my job because, again, it was only like 30 hours part-time, no real stimulation or growth there, and I can make that money on eBay and hustling from home and doing other things to bring in the cash. So yeah, I'm now a full-time reseller. I have been for 2 or 3 weeks now. It's pretty crazy to say out loud. It's still sort of
quite fresh in the mind,
settling in. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a sudden decision either. It's something that we've actually been talking about as a couple for like 6 months or so. We always knew it was like a potential goal for yourself to do that first, to be able to do drop down or, do the reselling full time. But it is something that we're sort of discussed as a couple to make sure that we're comfortable with it. We're okay financially. You've put in a lot of work to set yourself up to be able to go full time as well.
Yeah.
But it wasn't sudden. It was something we've been thinking about. But we had that 3 weeks off and we're like, all right, sweet, do it. Bite the bullet.
Yeah, so
took the plunge.
Yeah, so like we said just before, we're in that new recalibration zone. So trying to figure out how to structure my work week so I'm not so reliant on Sarah to help with the business. It's essentially, for the most part, my business, and you're just helping to draft and do those simpler tasks that are very important, but need to be done regardless, and it's not going to take too much of your mental capacity and space on top of your 9-to-5 job to sort of help out in that regard. So I'm trying to figure out how I can spread my time more evenly across the business to maximize how much you can help, but without making you spend your 2 days off deep into the business.
Yeah.
So like potentially spending a day sourcing together and then a full day off just kicking back.
Yeah.
That's sort of the plan. And on top of that, trying to find my balance for what I can do in 5 or 6 days as a full-time seller in terms of what days to go out, what days to stay home and list, all that sort of fun stuff.
Yeah. And like you said, you are in like the trial phase at the moment to try and figure out what's best for you. For us, we sort of broke it down by who's good at what and what our skill levels are as well, and how we each can sort of contribute to the business, but also not affecting like our own personal lives as well. So something that Drew is really good at is taking photos, editing photos. That's one of his level or areas of expertise, as well as like editing videos and everything. I'm terrible at that kind of thing. So where I can fill in and where I can help is like I can draft, I can measure, I can help package, all that kind of stuff as well. So we figure out what we're good at and how we can help each other out, and we sort of, work together as a team.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing that we touched on over the last month or two, and before we did all this, was like, let's sit down and figure out what tasks are required to get the job done each day, and which one of those tasks are we personally good at or better at than the other, and what do we not like doing, and then sort of made a list and then worked out, okay, I'm really good at this, I'll take this one, but I hate doing this. And you're like, I don't mind doing that task. And then sort of divvying it up so we're both in a good mental space and not doing things that we're dreading or horrible at. So we get the best of both worlds and maximizing both of our skill sets.
Yeah, exactly. And if we're enjoying it, we're going to be better at it, faster at it, all that kind of stuff as well. Another thing that we did was sort of have a general idea of how long tasks take. And then figuring out how long they take, then you can sort of plan out your day and plan out your week. And something that you introduced me to was calendar blocking, which I thought was quite cool. Yeah.
And we haven't really used it too much recently. I did sort of intend to block out my week for reselling, and I will do in the next week or two. I think I'll create a more structured work week for myself based around your calendar, etc. But yeah, this first month going full time, it's more about
trial and error
and just sort of trying to figure out how much work I can achieve in a set amount of time, and then how many hours of the day I can do certain things, and sort of just working out what's doable in my 24-hour day.
Yeah, for sure. And we always say that we're pretty open, so Drew can actually access my calendar. I'm trialing sort of 2 calendars at the moment. So I've got like one Google Calendar, which is like the blocking tasks that need to get done. And I've got my Apple Calendar for direct debits, financial, so reminders, if that makes sense, for those kind of things. But I have that set up to save time. So a great way is organizing direct debit, so you don't have to worry about it. Auto renewals as well. So I do that for like Archie's food and his medicine. We do that for our own vitamins. Another cool thing is, setting up reminders in your calendar with the alarms. So it's pretty much setting and forgetting. So that clears up that mental space for you so you can focus on other tasks.
Yeah. The trouble with that, like, again, like I love playing devil's advocate in these scenarios.
No, of course.
I hate notifications. I have notifications turned off on most things. So like I do calendar stuff heaps, but in terms of the reminders and alerts, I just don't get them because there's so many apps on your phones these days and you just get so many notifications. So that's one thing that I struggle with is getting reminded of tasks. For my day-to-day stuff, I just have a checklist on my phone and I need to do X amount of listings. I need to do picking and packing. I need to do these 10 or 20 tasks that are a priority for the business. And I just sort of check them off day by day. Yeah. And then, it's hard. It's so hard to even sit down and work out how to create balance in your work life.
Yeah, and that's an important thing as well, because both Drew and myself, we plan differently, and it's understanding how your partner plans and working around that way as well. And that's one of my area of expertise is like I'm the one that sort of gets reminded about, our bills and all that kind of stuff. So I sort of handle that area, because that's one of the things that I'm better at, I suppose. Yeah.
It takes a massive mental drain on me to think about that stuff when I'm in the middle of eBay life.
Yeah, eBay life and trying to list, 30 items a day. So if that's something that I can do to help lessen your workload, to even it out, but that's what helps me, is setting up those auto direct debits and renewals and all that kind of stuff. So I get reminded when Archie needs his flea medication and all that kind of stuff. So that way I don't have to think, randomly at night to be like, oh, when is this due? It's all in my calendar.
It's all about minimizing the amount of decisions you have to make. And a lot of them are just very simple decisions or 1-minute tasks. Mm-hmm. But if you can save all that time, it adds up. That's why people love, buying the meal kits and stuff like that.
Yes, Marley Spoon and all those kind of ones.
One less decision you have to make.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to make, I don't know, there's some statistic you make 10,000 decisions a day or some wild number. So a few less than 10,000 would be helpful.
And that's what it is. It's about that balance and clearing out that mental space so you can focus your energy on more productive things. Like, that's the ultimate goal, is to continually be productive, but also keeping yourself sane at the same time. So a couple of ways to keep yourself sane, for sure. For us, and we haven't been able to do it in a while because the weather's been horrible, but spending time outdoors. So simple things, just enjoying the sun, going for a walk, just to be able to, I guess, free that space in your mind and get a bit of a balance reset, because all work and no play can make Johnny a dull boy.
Johnny?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Johnny or Jack?
Jack? It is Jack, sorry.
One of the J-boys?
One of the J-boys. Also, as well as, knowing your limits, and that sort of comes with time, knowing, what your limit is and what it will take to make you sort of tap out, that you need a break. So if you understand your limits and know when to sort of just step back a bit and be like, wait, hold a second, I need to, step away from this task at the moment, it's doing my head in, I need a bit of a breather. So understanding your limits, reading yourself and looking after yourself, that's another huge one.
On that, have you ever used, I used to use it a fair bit at uni, the Pomodoro technique?
No.
Or the Pomodoro app?
What's that?
So it's basically designed to not get burnt out on a singular task and give you a chance to step away from it and come back fresh every time. So it's basically, I'm sure it's based on some science, but it's an app you can get, and you essentially are like, I want to edit this podcast. It's going to take me an hour, 2 hours, for example.
Yeah.
You hit the app or hit start or whatever, and it breaks the workload up into 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off.
Oh.
And you just do that all day, essentially.
Right.
So the idea is that after 25 minutes, you're sort of, you're grinding it out, getting in a flow. You start to sort of find yourself getting a bit distracted or a bit unfocused.
Going into a loop or something.
So it's take 5 minutes, go and get a snack, put some washing on or something away from the task, and then come back, and that next 25 minutes, you're fresh, and you just continue that all day long, essentially. It's quite popular.
Oh, right.
Haven't used it recently, but yeah. Rather than doing 4 hours on one task and then coming off it or stopping it and then being exhausted.
Yeah.
It's a nice way to sort of pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Chill, come back work, pump the brakes.
That's awesome. Yeah, that does really make sense.
Pomodoro.
Okay, easy. I might have to check it out, because at my day job, the 9 to 5, I used to be quite bad, and I'd bring work home with me. So whether it's rostering, that kind of stuff, but I'm a lot better now at managing my time at work. So when I come home, I can be fully focused on Drew, or I can be fully focused on myself or on Archie or on the business and things like that. So got a lot better at that one. I do set a lot of alarms, that kind of thing, to be able to make sure I stay on track, because I'm really bad at losing time. You're actually quite good at keeping time, but yeah, I don't know, for some reason, time moves a lot quicker for me. No, you're good at it.
Maybe it's because you're shorter.
Yeah.
And it's you're close to the center of the earth.
Maybe.
Somehow time moves faster.
Yeah, just escapes from me all the time. But yeah, that's one of those things. I have to make sure I set myself alarm so I don't take too long doing a particular task, because I can be a bit of a perfectionist. So if I do set myself that time limit, that way, I only can set that amount of, I guess, energy on that particular task. Yep. Yeah. I've already mentioned going outdoors, exercising, food, health, all that kind of stuff is super important to make sure you keep that work-life balance. Do you have anything that helps you with the work-life balance?
Do I have anything?
Or anything that you're trying to work through at the moment? Because like we said before, we're in our forming, we're trying to figure it out with our new rostering and everything at the moment. Is there anything that you're struggling with at the moment?
Not really. Like, obviously I'm struggling internally every day of my existence, but at the moment it's just putting in the hours, and then I don't know, it's just a learning process. It's going to take a while to really set into the full-time work-life structure. I'm going to be home most days working and stuff, so it's going to be a different mindset entirely. I can potter around the house and do household chores and stuff. Mm-hmm. So there is a bit of balance in that regard built into it. It's not a strict 9 to 5 thing where I've got to be on for those 8 hours and then come home.
Yeah.
So it's ingrained in the day-to-day living, I guess.
Yeah.
As long as I'm, not sitting at the computer doing 12 hours of work from start to finish. That's what I don't want to be doing. But yeah, it's about finding that balance. And then, when you get home, turning off rather than just grinding through till 10 o'clock at night, is turning off and spending some time with you, which, to be honest, I haven't been doing, but
we're in the beginning stages. Like I understand that part as well. Like as a partner and being a fully supportive partner with you going full time, it's going to probably be about a month or 2 months until we're really fully comfortable in our new routine that we have.
Yeah.
And it's the long game, and we know this is going to be more beneficial. And yes, I'm fine that you're working out, trying to figure out what works best for you at home, creating those boundaries. And so you are able to switch off when you are at home, so you're not just full on work mode.
Yeah. And as I've mentioned before to you, it's also like with this being full time now, there's like different types of work or different modes of work. So like I've been saying like light work and like hard work. Like light work, we can sit there and put on an episode of Friends or just throw on some Netflix and just measure 30 items.
Yeah.
Super chill, no stress.
Don't need to be like fully awake for it.
You can be doing anything else in the background. That's like sort of consider light work, and then you can come in and then do the harder work where you're focused and you're listing things out or taking photos where you can't be distracted. So like the light work, there's a degree of distraction that's sort of built into it that you can tolerate. So yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what we can work with. But yeah, enjoying it. Trying to find balance.
Yeah, and it's huge for us as well. This is like the first time you're working for yourself and everything. Yeah, it's super exciting. You're doing so well so far.
We'll see. We'll get back to you in another month. We'll see.
Yeah, so do another catch up a little bit later on, and we'll check in with Drew, see how he's doing.
But I'm yawning this entire episode, so obviously I haven't found the best balance, and I need a little break now, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening to another one of our Look Mum, I'm Hustling episodes. Can't believe we're up to episode 8 now.
I know. It's going so fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you to everybody who has been listening so far and listening to us chatting about how we're trying to just get better at work-life balance.
We're trying to improve our lives.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys. Don't forget you can subscribe to the YouTube channel for the video version. And you can drop a like there, all that fun stuff. And then you can listen to us in your ears only version in Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Look Mum, I'm Hustling. Give us a little 5-star rating and review if you think we deserve it. And yeah, share it around to your friends, your family, and your dying plant. That plant that we got for the podcast has been dead for a while now, but it's quite dark back there. You guys can't tell, but now you know. That's behind the scenes secrets.
Yeah, a little secret just for everybody.
All right, guys. See you in the next episode.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.